Hi there friends, and welcome to my silver guide for Valheim. I'm Icon, and this video will guide you through all the necessary knowledge to process silver and work with it. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to survive in the mountains, and last but not least, I'll also include a few tips and tricks about the silver process in general. So, first up, the basic mandatory requirements: frost resistance and a wishbone. Frost resistance can be acquired via frost mead in the beginning, and later you need to craft yourself either a wolf fur cape or a wolf breast armor to give yourself some permanent frost resistance. This way you won't be suffering any cold damage in the mountains anymore, but stay sure that you are dry when you enter the mountains, because if you are wet and start to go into the mountains, you will be still suffering damage over time from the cold. So the wishbone can be acquired from the boss bone mass. I don't want to talk about that too much. And you have to get that thing and you have to equip it before you can find silver effectively. Apart from that, mandatory requirements: the best equipment you can muster, as many friends as possible. It is solo doable. This is a solo guide after all, but I really gotta say, the more the merrier. Apart from that, potions always do help, like healing potions and stamina potions. I don't consider them mandatory, but seriously, they are really good to have. Apart from that, of course, you need to have an iron pickaxe, because anything lower than that won't be able to tackle silver. So with the enemies, well, I won't be talking too much about the enemies. I just want to say that you should be somewhat comfy with dealing with those. Acquire yourself some obsidian arrows, acquire yourself some weapons to deal with them, something you feel comfy with, and most importantly, be careful. Eiktir is a very, very beneficial bonus up here, because I feel like stamina is a very deadly thing to run low on, but also I like to go with bone mass, because bone mass's damage reduction can save you. Also, be ready to fight against golems up here, because they really like to hang around silver nodes, so yeah. Also, no slope is too steep, basically. Well, some are too steep, as long as you're sprinting them. When you're sprinting, you're basically able to run on almost vertical structures. So here's our first Drake. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about it. Arrows. A good bow and arrows, yeah, are basically mandatory, because you will slaughter tons of those. And here we see already there's this greenish glow. This is our wishbone telling us that something is happening. This is probably the most annoying and tricky part about it, and yeah. It's pretty simple though if you follow some basic rules. The tone gets more and more high-pitched the closer you get to the source, and the frequency is also increasing. So what I like to do is take a few steps and see, does it work? How does the tone change? How does the frequency change? And the closer you get, the higher the tone, and the more steady the pulse. I really can't simplify that for you. You have to just try around, learn it, and it's really annoying to learn it, but once you got it, it's quite okay. I really hope the devs will include some sort of direction sense, because so far I haven't found any. So this is the pulse you're looking for, and when you're at this point, get out the pickaxe and start whacking. If you're unlucky, you'll just dig out a treasure. That sometimes happens. And also, you see here, you're also well able to displace trees with that. So here we go, we found our first piece of deposit, and that's just that. So silver, though, is, as all the other metals in the game you've encountered so far, not teleportable. So let's ditch out that. So it's not only not teleportable, it's also pretty heavy. It weighs 14 kilo per bit, and therefore it is one of the nastiest things to transport, besides iron, or besides heavier metals, but you get the idea. So to really do your job good, you should possibly think about how to set it up. So there are several methods, like building a base right next to the silver deposit. Well, that is a little bit of an overkill, but what I do like to do nowadays is to try and set up my bases in the vicinity of mountains to shorten the transport way. Ideally, if you're able to set up a base between a swamp, a larger swamp preferably, and a mountain, you can shorten your logistics pathways by a lot via just transporting these metals to your base, which is really close. The other good thing we can do, which is what we're doing on this server here, the silver is being transported to these docks, and from the docks we take a longboat and transport these items down here to this shore, where we transport them back into the base. Longboats have an insanely large storage room and are perfect to counter these problems with the storage you got. So the game really wants you to transport items on long distances, preferably with boats, because we might have carts, but carts have the problem that as soon as they are too heavy, it's really a pain to transport them. So apart from that, I strongly recommend you to think about how to transport your ores down from the mountain and where to process them, because you won't be able to teleport them. Of course, you could just teleport scum, and in case you didn't know, you can just pick up the ores, log off on this server, log into another server, and just put them down into the other server, log onto your original server, teleport back home, and then repeat that thing, and you can just safely scum your ores over there. I don't recommend this way because it is an exploit, and I hope the devs will fix that. I guess they will fix that in some way, that you will just drop ores when you leave the server or something like that. But nevertheless, the logistics part is really, really important. But apart from that, there's not much more to say about silver. As soon as you can, you will want to have as much silver as possible, because you really need tons of it. So yeah, I hope that was somewhat helpful for you. Feel free to drop a comment down below if you feel like I left out something, or if you just want to say thanks, or if there are any further questions, ask away. I love to answer them. Apart from that, leave a like or a subscribe if you want to support and say thanks in a different way. I would be deeply appreciating that. And of course, have fun with Valheim and come back soon, friends. See you. Bye-bye.